coming up on Great Hearts, Great Stories.
When you're done, you get milk and cookie, and then you get to go home because you have to have a bedtime snack.
Archway Arate's Bedtime Stories reminds families that even the simplest routines, like reading together, can leave a lasting impact.
A perfect score and a bright future ahead. Seniors at Veritas Prep and Glendale Prep have achieved the rare feat of a 36 on the ACT.
I am not the first person in my family to have gotten a 36. My brother, 2 years ago, also got a 36.
Find out what's next for them.
And later, we will relive the premiere of our Big Tent event for classical education, where Great Hearts hosted over 900 educators and leaders at the National Symposium for Classical Education.
That's all coming up on Great Hearts, Great Stories. Welcome to Great Hearts, Great Stories, our monthly student newscast. I'm Lucy Gardner, senior at Chandler Prep.
And I'm Brandon Myers, also a senior here. We're going to kick this episode off with a literary celebration down in Gilbert.
Pajamas, books, and bedtime snacks brought families together at Archway Arate's Bedtime Stories Night with one of childhood's most meaningful routines.
Come in your pajamas and hear a bedtime story. Who does not love a bedtime story? Normally, you do not see your teachers in their pajamas. Desks are usually out, so we're going to push the desks aside. You're going to bring a stuffy. We give you 2 books in every room, and we have 10 teachers reading tonight. When you're done, you get milk and cookie, and then you get to go home because you have to have a bedtime snack. So the first year we did it, our goal that year was everyone is a reader, and we thought what better way is to invite people to read with us. We were surprised at how many people came and how hard it was to get them to go home to go to bed. I let teachers pick their favorite. So I know somebody is reading Skippy John Jones. I know somebody else is reading The Giving Tree. I am reading with another teacher, and we are reading bilingually. So we both have the same book. Hers is in French and mine is in English. And we thought, I'll read a page, then she'll read a page. It is one of my favorite authors, Maurice Sendak, and there's a little bunch of books that he has that's 4 mini books. And so we're gonna read as many as we can in the 30 minutes. Don't sit backwards on your chair. I don't care. Or pour syrup on your hair. I don't care.
Que désires-tu pour déjeuner? Ça m'est égal. De la crème ou des céréales? Ça m'est égal. Ne monte pas sur ta chaise à cheval. Ça m'est égal.
We all love reading here, and we don't always get to read the sweet books, the short books. We don't get to read bedtime stories here because we don't put them to bed, but we get to read bedtime stories tonight.
Defying all expectations, Great Hearts Roosevelt left an unforgettable basketball season, winning the CAA state championships. In addition to the state title, Coach Sawyer Wellman was awarded with the CAA Coach of the Year Award. Sophomore year Tavis Oatman won a CAA Player of the Year Award. Oatman and fellow team captain, sophomore Prince Yahokim Johnson, both won all-state honors. Yahokim Johnson averaged 10.6 rebounds per game, 18.5 points per game, and a 65% field goal percentage, while Oatman averaged 22.2 points per game, 4.9 assists per game, and shot 75% on free throws.
It was a journey around the world at Great Hearts Anthem. The International Festival brought cultures to life as students and families explored continents through hands-on fun and community celebrations.
Today we are celebrating the International Festival. It is our 2nd year of doing this amazing event. The students are immersed in all different continents. Every student is being given a map, and through the different continents, they're going to get a stamp after completing an activity. Each classroom might have a craft, an activity. We have Taekwondo, African mask making. We have Aubergine art for Australia. We're making penguins for Antarctica, Moroccans for South America. We have this year a pizza place, a churro ice cream place, a barbecue, and a Mexican restaurant, just to bring in some nationalities, and the 10% goes back to the school. Sometimes they just love rushing into their own classrooms first, And then just going one by one and seeing their friends, it's just a great event to get the community together and just enjoying time with families. Being with their teachers and building our culture and building our community is just always very important, and knowing that we're a very strong, loving community.
Great Hearts is bringing more opportunities by expanding the dual enrollment program for students to earn college credit during their time in high school. Music, drama, studio art, physics, logic and computation, and the American rhetorical tradition are among the courses available for dual enrollment for the first time for 2026-2027 school year. Visit the website listed on the screen and make an appointment with your Academy College counselor for more information and to see the full list of dual enrollment opportunities available to Great Hearts students throughout Arizona.
There's still more to come on Great Hearts, Great Stories. We'll hear from the two students who scored a perfect 36 on the ACT, what they did to prepare for the test, and what's next for them. And we're headed inside the annual training for our campus security officers.
So everything from disgruntled parents, some confusion, false positives, just loud noises and bangs throughout the property.
Intense drills meet life-saving techniques to keep students safe at Great Hearts Academies. That's still ahead on Great Hearts, Great Stories.
Welcome back. Now it's time to meet two incredible seniors who place themselves in the 1% of all ACT test takers.
Veritas Prep senior Renek Kapadia scored a 36 on the test, placing him among nation's top students.
Hi, I'm Renek Kapadia. I got a perfect score on the ACT composite, and I am a National Merit finalist. We have a class group chat, and so what happened was somebody said, "Oh, I got my ACT score back," and so everybody just started rushing and checking their ACT scores. And so in the middle of that, I found out that I had gotten a 36 on my ACT. It wasn't too much of a surprise because I had taken a practice test before and gotten a 36. So I felt like I was ready, and I felt like aiming for that was a realistic goal, but I was still really happy when I found out. I bought this Princeton Review ACT book. And so what I did is I took a practice test just on my own, and I graded it myself, and I tried to find where my weak spots were, because I knew I was going to do really well in math, regardless, because math has been one of my strong suits for forever now. But in the science section, I noticed I had some trouble, so I worked on the science section. And then when I took another practice test, I took practice tests with the intention of not only just keeping up the scores throughout the other ones, throughout the other subjects, but also bumping up that science score. One of the things that I've learned over the years has been word choice, grammar, sentence formation, that kind of thing, and that actually made the English section of the ACT much easier for me. That opens up a lot of doorways in terms of what colleges I can attend, what colleges will accept me, how much I'll have to pay in tuition, that kind of thing. I'm looking at aerospace engineering. I've been told that since I'm really good at science and math, I should go into engineering, but also I do really like solving problems, and that's something that's very, very much engineering related. So I decided on engineering like a couple years ago.
And at Glendale Prep, Luciano Marcellini aced the ACT as well, following in the footsteps of his older brother who aced the same test a few years ago.
I'm Luciano. I'm a senior here at Glendale Prep, and when I first found out that I got a 36 on the ACT, I was fairly surprised. You hear from a friend that scores are out, so I open my laptop, I log in, I check my score, and turns out I got a 36. I, of course, celebrated. I told my parents, told my friends, and from there it was just hope for the future. I am not the first person in my family to have gotten a 36. My brother, 2 years ago, also got a 36. I'm fairly sure he was more confident about his score than I was, but it's still incredible, especially since we're related. I get to live up to the expectations set to my brother, and it's just a great thing, really. Currently, he's going to ASU Barrett, and he's majoring in robotics. I'm also going to ASU Barrett, but for mechanical engineering instead, hopefully getting to work with like F1 and things like that.
Luciano is in a really small group of students. On average, in a given year, of all test takers, there are only about 0.5% of all students that actually score a perfect 36.
I was more so worried about the PSAT at the time. I was teaching a couple classes for the PSAT, and then kind of incidentally, I was at the same time preparing for the ACT.
After his sophomore year, he did so well on the PSAT that it was very noticeable that he was going to be in the running for national merit. In talking to him, he really wanted to help his fellow classmates. And so we worked together pretty closely in terms of coming up with an idea and finding days and times after school where he would focus on helping especially some of the higher scoring kids so that they would have a better chance at maybe making the national merit cutoffs. And Luciano, I mean, he really did the work. And I think most of the kids made it to just about every class that Luciano offered. We are such a great community here at Glendale Prep. I think he really fell right into that and really showed what it means to serve others and to share his gifts.
Ms. Sarbacher is great at what she does. For studying with the ACT, she was the one that helped me create that PSAT class I talked about. And then she was also the one that recommended I take the ACT. We do take it mandatory here at the school for all juniors, but Ms. Sarbacher was really the one that helped me push for that 36. I'm on the robotics team, and we're doing really well this season. We're actually going to the World's competition later in April. I'm also on the tennis team, and a big help with that. I also do choir here at the school, both concert choir and chamber singers. I've got to experience like everything that Glendale Prep has to offer. It has taught me to take opportunities in a way that's helped me shape my future and as well shape the lives of those around me.
And earlier this year, we introduced you to Atish Bala from Scottsdale Prep, who also received a 36 on his test. Congratulations to all 3 students.
A new chapter begins for Great Hearts in Apache Junction with the opening of Great Hearts Blossom Rock in the fall of 2027. Conal Tanner has been announced as the founding headmaster who will bring experience, vision, and a deep commitment to classical education.
It is education not for a profession, but education for a well-rounded, complete life. It's for human thriving. It's so that you learn how to write well, speak well, listen well, read well, ultimately to think well, so that you can live well, whether you're a doctor, lawyer, butcher, baker, candlestick maker, whatever you do, so that you can do it well and fill your life with what you really desire. Because even though it seems like what makes us happy is money or certain temporary pleasures like physical pleasures, what really makes us happy is satisfying our deepest, not our superficial, our deepest desires. And our deepest desires are for goodness, truth, and beauty. So that's what classical education is. We're not in the business of getting people ready for professions. We're in the business of happiness and making people ready for a life well lived.
Families interested in the new academy are invited to a special event on April 18th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Blossom Rock Community Clubhouse. This special event will give parents the opportunity to get to know Mr. Tanner and connect with other families. You can RSVP at the website on the screen.
During spring break, our campus security officers took advantage of an empty campus to undergo some critical training, which they undertook with focus and seriousness, all to ensure that our campuses remain safe.
Today is day 4 of our 4-day campus safety officer / school resource officer training. So what we're doing today is our force on force training. We've built a bunch of different scenarios where the guards are what they're going to interact with and usually see in their day-to-day lives working on a Great Hearts campus. So everything from disgruntled parents, some confusion, false positives, just loud noises and bangs throughout the property. And then building and culminating in an active shooter situation, medical situations, communicating with dispatch, providing medical aid. So everything from a guard interacting between 2 bickering parents over custody or road rage incident in the pickup line, up into multiple shooters with multiple downed innocent people, where we have to provide medical aid, communicate with the ambulance crew, write up a report, and then do like a quick law and legal review as if we're on stage or on trial or anything like that, being able to articulate what we did that day.
They do it multiple times throughout the year, but once a year, they come to one of our campuses that are closed for spring break so that they can do some real life scenarios inside one of our campuses. We have WASPRO protection officers on every one of our campuses, but also interestingly, our security director is from WASN. And that's a little bit different as opposed to having our own security director. The reason that we find it advantageous is that we not only get a security director, we get everyone at the WASPRO leadership team that supports us and helps us in our training and making sure that our campuses are safe.
You kind of get this sense that everybody is a client, even if they're not directly paying for it. You develop a lot of relationships with the kids, parents, teachers, administration, until I take my hat off and nobody knows who I am anymore.
This partnership that we have and the officers that we have on our campuses is one piece of a multi-layered security plan. Security needs to be multiple layers, different approaches, and this is one of them, and it's a key one. But we also believe in building relationships with the students, training our staffs. There's a multitude of things that go into actually keeping the campuses safe.
The 2026 Great Hearts National Symposium for Classical Education brought together over 900 educators and leaders from around the world for 3 days in Tempe, Arizona. We leave you now with a recap from this incredible conference.
Thank you guys for tuning in to this month's episode of Great Hearts, Great Stories. And remember,
Go Titans!
One of the major problems with utilitarianism is that it just doesn't work.
Welcome to our symposium this year. This event is for you, the teachers. You have the noblest and most important career in our country.
You 900 know we face an entrenched resistance from a determined opposing force, the crass and proud utilitarianism, which discards truth and rejects the timeless and transcendent to whatever some bureaucrat in power or some fashion in style decides will work. The students wondering, who am I?
We are all here because we believe that K-12 education should introduce students to the best that has been thought and said by the greatest minds in conversation with one another over the centuries and across our curriculum.
Either you're intentional and deliberate or you're not. But if you're not, that vacuum is still going to be filled by other forces that are probably not aligned.
AI is being used all the time on almost every assignment. They're using chatbots to summarize books or long and difficult readings, to function as conversation partners or friends, and to remove the pain and toil of writing.
Remember what's at stake. You are preserving access to the full expressive range of the English language. This is where classical education becomes heroic.
Lest in this marriage, he should be dishonored.
We need to give them space and coaching and persuasion and love, and not in a dogmatic way, but in a free and open way that they can join us in this moment.
Fix your aims, focus your work, fire your hearts, and then watch beauty do its eternal work of leading us all to goodness and truth.
Don't let the utilitarians get you down. Remember that they were always there, always with their own declaration, always vending their insidious manifesto. They were there at the dawn of our nation, and they were there at the dawn of the human event. Remind them gently, if you can, that if the opposite of love is hate, the absence of love is use. Remember that many are lost, that there but for the grace of God go we. Remember the comic and cosmic irony at which we should all laugh. In the end, one of the major problems with utilitarianism is that it just doesn't work. Thank you. I appreciate again all of your presence here more than we can say on behalf of everyone at Great Hearts, and appreciate still more the work that every one of you is doing in your theater to lend yourselves to this cause.